The President of Cricket Scotland says she is delighted to see an independent investigation by Sportscotland into racism in the game. Last month, we brought you an exclusive interview with Scotland's leading wicket-taker of all time, Majid Haq, who made allegations that Cricket Scotland is institutionally racist.
People have to trust the process in order for them to feel safe to share their stories. And if they feel safe to share their stories, we can then listen and learn from those stories. Those people's experiences are ones that we want to learn from. And if we can do that, and if people trust it in order to share their stories and trust the investigation team to teach us where the lessons that we need to learn are, and then trust Sports Scotland to hold us to acting on those lessons, then that's the process that I see working. And it will take time, but we're absolutely committed to this. We want to be the leaders in Scottish sport. We want to make sure that there is no place for racism within cricket in Scotland.
Well, Majid Haq, along with Qasim Sheikh, called for an investigation into the alleged institutional racism, and we can speak to Qasim now. Really appreciate you sparing the time to join us on the story again, Qasim. Obviously, we heard from the President of Cricket Scotland saying people need to trust the process. And speaking to Sue Strachan here on Sky Sports News Live a little earlier on this afternoon, she used the words "open our doors" an awful lot. How much faith do you have in this review?
Well, starting with Sue Strachan, I have full faith in Sue. She's determined to push change. She's somebody that I'm in contact with a lot. In regards to the rest of the board, I don't really know them personally, but I think it's great that Sports Scotland are going to be overlooking the investigation.
OK, and it seems you mentioned the board. One of the things that Sue admitted in our chat a little earlier on was that she didn't feel that the board was diverse enough. Do you agree with that? What needs to be done? Do you think that people who come from ethnic backgrounds, ethnic communities, need to be visibly in positions of influence at Cricket Scotland, and they should be appointing those people?
Yes, I do. From what I know, it's predominantly a white board, and I do think it needs to be more diverse moving forward. So that is going to be something that I think they're going to have a look at. Changes are going to have to be made, and I think in the long run, that gives you a better chance to come out the other end of this in a positive way. It's hard for people that don't experience racism to understand it fully. So I think it's very important to have a very diverse board moving forward.
In terms of opening our doors, as Sue Strachan mentioned earlier, do you feel that there will be confidence amongst anyone who's had, in some respect, contact with this issue, whether they are themselves the victims of it, whether they have witnessed it? Do you think that they will come forward and tell their story and give their accounts to give Cricket Scotland a deeper understanding of where this issue is and where they're at with it?
I do think they will in time if given a safe environment to do so. There is a campaign that's been launched by a number of volunteers from a very diverse background, all very passionate about Scottish cricket, who will be helping that. It's called Run Out Racism. I think already we have lots of people who have spoken of experiences. I just read something online today, unfortunate, about an umpire who's been mistreated through the process with Cricket Scotland. So I think there's going to be lots more. I've seen players, cricket clubs, internationalists like myself, all speaking about their experiences, and I think more will follow in time if given that safe environment to do so.
We've seen, Qasim, how deep this story runs in England, with not just Yorkshire, but Essex, Warwickshire, many counties, multiple counties involved. How far do you think this goes in Scotland? Give us an idea of the anecdotal evidence maybe that you've seen or things that you've heard, which give us an idea of what we're dealing with here.
I think in regards to what's taken place with Yorkshire and the Qasim Sheikh case, some of the incidents that he refers to, I haven't personally experienced so much like that. I mean, we have been referred to as you lot, but the things like elephant washer and stuff like that, it's not been something that's been said. or along those lines. However, I do think there's a serious problem from speaking to people from grassroots all the way up to international level. There is a concern there, and I do think it's going to be quite a big problem. I do think serious issues are going to come out the end of it, and I'm certainly, as well as many others, are passionate about helping drive this forward so that we can have a positive change and bring everyone together.
Chief Executive of Sportscotland is Stuart Harris, and he said we must start to rebuild trust. Sue Strachan talked about trying to lead as far as this issue is concerned. First of all, is that realistic, given the issues that you have raised and your teammate has also raised, Majid Haq? And also, how long will it take to genuinely rebuild trust?
Look, it isn't easy to rebuild trust. It doesn't happen overnight. However, it can be rebuilt. There is ways and means to do it. The likes of Sue Strachan, you mentioned the Chief Executive of Sports Scotland. I'm hoping to speak with him quite soon. I have confidence in both of them to drive this forward. But yeah, we need to see action. Words and statements are great, but people need to see action and change. And I think people will start to build trust in the process moving forward if it's done in the right way.
OK. Well, thank you very much indeed for joining us once again, Qasim Sheikh. Really, really do appreciate your time here on Sky Sports News.